Welcome back to the Hurricanes opponent preview series for 2025. For those of you watching on YouTube, if you please like and subscribe to my channel, I greatly appreciate that. It helps me out considerably. If you haven't done so already, it takes you a few seconds. Just like and subscribe. It'll help me out tremendously on that. If you'd like to donate, it's up to you. You can do so via PayPal, Venmo, or Cash App. I will have the links for those in the description. It'll help out tremendously. So, without further ado, let's continue. We're halfway home in the opponent preview series. We're now into part 6. This part previews the 2025 Louisville Cardinals, our opponent at Hard Rock Stadium on Friday night, October 17th at 7 p.m. on ESPN. The Louisville Cardinals are set to begin the 2025 season with Jeff Braun back again, and they're looking to build on recent achievements and compete for an ACC title. They've had back-to-back years of 9 wins or more, but they want to go higher. They want to be a genuine national contender. And to do that, let's look at the offense. They get Miller Moss coming in from USC. He takes over from Tyler Shaw. Although Moss may not be the most mobile and not as mobile as Shaw was, he is a veteran. And he has the potential to outperform the former starter at Louisville, Jack Plummer. Now, when you look at their running game, they have a solid group of running backs. It's led by Isaac Brown and Duke Watson, who last year combined for nearly 1,800 yards and 18 touchdowns. Brown is going to be the starter, and then you have a change of pace back in Watson, who can do a lot in that offense. When you look at their receiving core, it's led by deep threat Chris Bell and Colin Lacey, who can be very adaptable in different situations. And additional players are expected to rise and support these two key contributors. When you look at their offensive line, there's going to be changes there. They did get McCallan Pounders from the portal from Mississippi State on the left side, left tackle. They have significant expectations to meet after last year. But when you get Pete Nigra back at center, that's experience. That's going to be key to making that offensive line better. And they should get better as the season goes on. So you may want to watch for that. When we look at the defensive side of the ball, they are led by leading tackler T.J. Quinn on the linebacking core. And Stanquan Clark on the outside is going to be a star. And they think he will be a star at Louisville. And the defense is going to need additional depth to support them. And with that said, when you go on the defensive line, Ashton Gilliott is gone. And he was a big part of their pass rush. But they do get a transfer from Coastal Carolina in Cleve Lubin, who's supposed to be a notable impact. And when you have the linemen in the middle of Jordan Gorad and Rene Congra, that's going to be a very strong duo on the inside that teams are going to have to deal with. When you look at the secondary, they lost some key guys at cornerback. They get JoJo Evans from FIU and Corey Gordon from Baylor from the portal. That brings experience. But other players there are going to have to step up, and they have to enhance their pass defense to prevent the big plays. Now, when I look at Louisville's schedule in 2025, it is manageable. And they get 8 games at home. And California, and more notably Clemson, comes into Louisville this year. And they do have to go to Hard Rock on the 17th, which I mentioned earlier, and they have to go to SMU. They will kick off the season August 30th against Eastern Kentucky. But they have the important ACC games. It's at Pitt, September 27th. They get a break because you don't want to go to Pitt late in the year and it's brutally cold. Hosting Virginia October 4th. Then they come to Hard Rock off a bye, like we will have a bye after FSU, October 17th. Then they get BC at home. They go to Blacksburg November 1st. And Cal comes in November 8th, before that big Friday night showdown against Clemson, November 14th. And they go to SMU November 22nd to close ACC play before Kentucky comes in for that annual Commonwealth game on the 29th to close the season. Now, we look at it from a Canes perspective. I was there last year in Louisville, and I can tell you the people there are very hospitable. They're very good people. I can tell you that for a fact. I was pretty impressed by that. And those guys have given us trouble the last couple of years. And this year, again, will be no different. We know how good that team is. We saw that firsthand last year, especially on the offensive end. And let's be clear, folks, right now. It's going to be a 4-quarter fight against those guys. We're not going to sugarcoat that any other way. Now, when I look at the predictions for 2025, they're predicting a win total of 8, and they're favored of 9 or 12. But when you look at, like I mentioned, the weakness in the secondary on the offensive line, that could hinder them from maybe winning 10, 11 games. Again, we'll have to see about that. If their defense comes up big and comes together, that team could be in the ACC title game. But when you look at them overall, and I look at them overall, they're going to have another strong season under Jeff Brohm. We know that. They could possibly contend for the ACC championship again, depending on how good their defense and their offensive line play. And their success is going to hinge on Moss's performance and the strength of that O-line. And not to mention the secondary, which I've mentioned before, having to come up big in a big situation. So you know that's going to be critical if they want to go to that 10, 11 win mark. But when I look at the schedule, wow, I have to look at it objectively. I'm going to honestly say this team in 2025 goes 8-4. That's the way I look at it. We already previewed one Cardinals, and in part 7 of the opponent preview series, I'll preview another Cardinal, as in the Stanford Cardinal.